Hey. I'm up in the middle of the night to come talk to y'all. It is your Empress Divine. No, hush. Goodness gracious, I can't even do my intro.
Hi everybody, we're here with Mike and
That is not my video. Oh, that's an ad. So I'm here to do a video. I'm your Empress Divine, Miss Tasha Turner herself. As I was saying before, I was so cutely interrupted. Um, this one's actually not a reading. It is a divine channel, which was the reason why I created this channel in the first place. Um, I have dreams, and when I dream, I be dreaming. And dream dreams and dreams. and like I've known for a long time that they have like really deep messages. And the more I go along this journey with using my tarot cards, the more I'm realizing that I'm just totally in sync as far as my dreams go with the energy that I pull in these cards. So I want to tell y'all about something that I just dreamed about, and I'm hoping that it will resonate with you and you'll pull something from it. Um, First and foremost, before I even went to sleep, every time I would close my eyes, and granted, it's been a pretty long day. You know, did a lot of studying, did a lot of learning, so my mind is already in overdrive before sleep. So I close my eyes to go to sleep, and every time I would go to sleep, I see this woman figure standing like over the bed, and she's like crouched down. You know, like if you've ever seen like the movie The Ring, like the figure with the hair falling down in her face and kind of crouched down or whatever. So I see this figure standing over the bed every time I close my eyes. This ain't nothing new to me, so I'm not scared. I'm just like, oh Lord, here we go. Here we go with this shit. What is this? Who is this? Why are you here? That's really just how I feel about it now. Like, okay, who are you? Why are you here? Oh, you're welcome, divine knowledge. So I see this figure standing over the bed. She has this, black long hair, stringy hair that's like, hanging over her face. She has like this scowl on her face. It's the posture of the little figure that's coming like, in the ring, but it's kind of like she kind of has that Momo like kind of face, but it's also like along the lines of like the Exorcist kind of face. So she's like kind of just standing crouched over, just kind of looking at me with a little scowl, slight smirk on her face. And I'm like, okay, so it's gonna be one of those nights. All right. So I'm just like, whatever. I'm just gonna go ahead and go to sleep because I'm sure I'll deal with it in my dream. So in the dream, right? Um, Things take place in the dream before I can like cognitively grasp what's going on, and then I really get to the meat of it. So all of that's kind of like a blur, but things I do remember are very vivid, like to the point of like being like a movie in HD type of vivid. And even sometimes I see credits roll at the end of my dreams. It's such a theatrical production. But so I'm in this living room. There's family around me. There's me. There is this family member of mine who has a certain degree of popularity, I will say, in our city. Um, Successful by somebody's terms, maybe not my own, but successful by somebody's terms. And there's another cousin who also, has some success. Well, a lot of success. She kind of it's kind of in the same way as like the other cousin, but it's like a little bit more. So it's like a higher degree of success of a younger generation also. So we have the social media and stuff to, make it spread out. So both of these have a degree of success and they have popularity in the city. And then there's another family member who is just someone that they kind of like they have this like kind of lowly spirit about them. Like some would call it humble, somebody more on my side of the looking glass would call it someone with self-esteem issues. There's a big difference. So this person, like, that we could just call the humble family member, is talking about what they want to do. I see at first it looks like a sewing machine off on the table. And then I kind of look around the corner and it's like this big Cricut machine. The things that like cut out crafts and make designs that you can like iron on your own t-shirts and stuff. Um, it's one of those big machines on the table. And I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to get one of those. And the older popular, quote unquote popular family member is like, well, we just gonna focus on humble. Let's call her humble. We just gonna focus on humble because right now, humble needs to do their thing. And in my mind, I'm thinking I just wanted to use it for my kids. I'm guessing it was Humble's intention to use this machinery, either the sewing machine slash cricket machine, to jumpstart a business. And older popular says, we not basically saying we're not really gonna worry about you. We're not focusing on you. We're focusing on Humble. So I'm just sitting there like, okay. And the conversation goes on. Humble is not even using the machines yet. Now remember, Humble is, um, from a 3D perspective, somebody who they submit themselves, and they would be the person who's like always calls Jesus and says, I am not worthy, I don't deserve you, but you still bless me. That type of spirit. Somebody who's more on a spiritual plane would look at this person like you don't know yourself. That's why you are so quote unquote humble, because you don't know yourself. Popular is backing this person 100% because that's what people who have a certain degree of success, even if it's small time, they do that. They back the people who have low self-esteem because it still makes them look good, but it also makes them feel like they are rising up somebody else. There's a message in this. I hope y'all catching this. So popular goes on and she's talking and like very passive aggressive, making very passive aggressive statements, saying stuff like, because some people think they all high and mighty. Some people think, you know, blase blase. The world is theirs, and they want people to kiss their ass, and some people real bougie, saying stuff like that. And then I'm sitting there observing it all, and finally I'm just in my phone, not really, I ain't really dialed in. That's always been me. I don't really care about the bullshit that be around me, especially people talking. But I finally look up at this passive aggressive, quote unquote, popular person, and I go, "You talking about me?" And she was like, "No, that's it." It's just no backpedaling, pretty much. So, yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay," because it sounded like it. I was just, I was just asking. I just wanted to know. That's what I said. And then I walked outside and I made a call. And then I came back inside and I was just, regularly talking. But before I went back outside, the other family member that I told you about, who is of a younger generation and who is actually, has a good amount of success, and and uses social media, to promote herself. So her success is not just limited to the city or to our community. It's actually something that is growing. That person says, I thought she was talking about me too. So I look at, her, and she was like, I thought she was talking about me too. It sounded like it. I wanted to know too. So it's like me and this other person who is like really doing their thing is like we kind of connected for that moment on that vibe. That's a message, people. That's a message. Like that's a whole dynamic. That's somebody's situation mirrors that. Somebody has that dynamic going on in their own life. But moving forward, that part of speaking up, it's like after I spoke up, after I said, "Are you talking about me?" And she was like, "No," with an attitude, basically backpedaling. Yeah. After speaking up, it's like I immediately felt a rush of energy, and I felt good about myself in the dream. In the dream, I felt like this rush of energy, and at that moment, it was like I don't need nobody to tell me when it's my time to go. You don't need nobody to tell you when it's your time. You don't need to wait on nobody else. You don't need nobody who's in a higher position, quote unquote, to like use aggressiveness or negging, like making little remarks, trying to like chip away at your self esteem. People like saying things trying to keep you in your place because they feel that they are like, the big figure. They feel like they called the shots because they had their little degree of success, you know, in their life. You don't need nobody to kind of temper what it is that you're doing. You don't have to wait on nobody. You don't have to focus on nobody else. And just because a more popular person, oh Jesus, I'm about to sneeze. Okay, just because a more popular person puts their support behind somebody who has this kind of lowly, humble act, that don't mean that you have to. You don't have to consider anyone else but yourself. So, you know, fast forward in the dream, because this is how my dreams work. I assume I went after what it is that I was talented in. Because basically, at the moment that I spoke up for myself, it was kind of like I was hit with this energy and this revelation that I don't have to wait on this person. This person ain't no gatekeeper to success. Because, yeah, they may be like successful in our small town or in our small community, but that's not my level of success. What I call success, well, listen here, being known in this town of like 60,000 at most, that is not success to me. And I don't measure success by popularity. I measure success by your net worth. And I would say that this person is kind of like middle class at best, probably more on the lower side of middle class because this is like a small city. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But fast forward, got into the talents or whatever, got into working, the business, and I blink, and it's me and somebody else. It's me, but it's not me because I kind of see myself in the third person. So it's a couple. It's a couple. They're working their dream. They are in real estate. I'm gonna see dreams that have something to do with what I'm doing. So this is how it plays out in my mind. So I see this couple. They're in real estate, and they are. I mean, getting to it. I come in the middle of the dream where they're talking to the owner of condos, and they have all of these condos, locked up. Basically, about to close deals on all of these condos, about to flip all of these condos, and are doing damn good, are doing a very impressive job. It's like I come in and both the man and the woman are talking to the complex owner or the condominium's owner, and they're talking about what they're about to do, how they're about to have checks in this person's hand. The person is happy, it's all good. I go out in the parking lot, and there's this like these luxury, there's like this black on black muted black lights Mercedes. Oh, so beautiful. This bitch is so beautiful. And this white Mercedes, and there's somebody in the black Mercedes and they're driving it, and they're out of control, completely out of control, to the point where the black Mercedes is kind of like dragging them. And because they have like one foot, how somebody opens the car door and they have one foot out of the car, it's kind of like that. But the black Mercedes is like a black Mercedes Jeep or SUV, and it's still going, and it starts moving in circles, and it gets to the point where it's going in circles out of control, and it scrapes the white Mercedes. So it hits the white Mercedes. So now both of them have flaws. Now both of them have defects. And I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. I'm just kind of sitting there watching it happen. And I'm like, all this luxury and people don't know how to control it. Yeah, check the messaging now. You got to be thinking deeper. It's like all of this luxury, all of this wealth, and you know, people can't control it. You don't know how to handle it. You don't know how to drive it. And I'm thinking, when I think about this, I see the high priestess card, the Hierophant card, and the chariot card and the tarot deck, because they both have those black and white backgrounds where you're having to balance the dark and the light. Because really, when you really get into what it is that you want to do and the prosperity starts to come your way, you are going to be tested. You are going to be faced with darkness and light. And everybody has darkness and light in them. So yeah, sometimes your light gets tainted by the dark. Sometimes your dark gets affected by the light. But it's up to you to make sure that neither one of them are driving you out of control. And the white Mercedes was parked. The black Mercedes was the one that's out of control. So the darkness was running rampant, which is, I kind of knew something was coming before I even went to sleep because of that little figure, that little feminine figure standing over my bed. Now, this happens. Eventually, the black Mercedes crashes into one of the condominiums across the way in the complex. So that's gonna be, a hit to your finances. That's gonna be a hit to your money, to your prosperity, to your reputation. If you out crashing black Mercedes into the places that you're supposed to be flipping. So that's a message too. It's like you have to control that darkness before you get to that place of where you want to be, or you're gonna end up losing it all. And you're gonna have that reputation of being just like a careless person, a reckless person. I get to the black Mercedes, help the person out of the driver's seat. I just happened to take a look at and I was like, what type of Mercedes is this anyways? And I went around to the back, and it wasn't the car tag. It was you know how they have like the model number on the back of the Mercedes, and it said 9LL3. And I was like, oh, that's that 9LL. Just just playing and stuff, playing around. I was like, that's that 9LL. I don't know what that means, but I just remember that number when I woke up, 9LL3. I haven't figured what that means yet. Maybe it'll stand out for somebody, but 9LL3. Like looking at it, how I just wrote it on the paper, it kind of looks like ill three. Could be three illnesses, three people that are ill that maybe passed from an illness. I don't know. It also kind of looks like a GLL3. Whatever the case may be, 9LL3. So we move from there, and we go and check out the condo that the black Mercedes just ran into. We go into this condo, and while I'm closing the door behind me, I look down, and it's like this little. It looks like a little small puppy, but it don't look like a puppy because it's a head, it's a furry body, it's some feet. It's not four legged. It's on two legs, but it looks like a puppy. But it's real small, like a little teacup puppy. And everybody else was like, "Oh, it's so cute." And I'm like, "No, that's not. That's weird." So I keep trying to shut the door on it, and I slam the door on one of them. It don't die. So we let it. I guess one came inside. Then I look down again, and it's like two, three, four other ones that come in behind it. And I'm like, "Y'all, that's not cute." And then they start like kind of like yapping, like barking a little bit. You know how little dogs do. And then like as they're barking, like the fur is shedding, so they're becoming these little naked things with like a puppy head and like a naked body and feet and two little feet. Not four legs though, just two little feet. But it looks like a dog head. And they're real small, like little teacup, like they could fit in the palm of my hand. Two, three, four of them come in, and then it's like I guess everybody else seen the first shed, and they was like, "Oh my God, what is that?" And they go to running, and all of a sudden we find ourselves running from these little things that started off seeming small. They started off seeming cute. Everybody saw it cute except a person who may have more discernment. And then it turns into these things that kind of scare you a little bit because they look kind of evil, like kind of demonic or like weird. They kind of send that chill up your spine. So here we have these people, this person who went after their gifts. They came together with somebody else, and they are a beautiful tag team. They work so good together. It's like a couple. It is a man and a wife, a couple. So I take that in my dream to be like a twin flame connection, working so good together, helping people, helping multiple people, cleaning up the scene, doing things for the community. The darkness in this nice life, this lavish life, all this luxury, the darkness starts to get out of hand. And then you're around these people who think that these little small, seemingly innocent acts are cute, and it's not. But it's inviting more in with it, because the more we kind of ignore it coming through the door, the more that start coming in behind us until it gets to the point where we're being chased. So we run through this condo. By the time we get back out, by the time we get through the back door, I look out at all of these condos that we were just talking about flipping and making nice, and we were handling our business and getting things done, and the whole scene is trashed. It looks like a college party just took place. It's like mattresses outside, like dirty old mattresses. There's like 40-ounce liquor bottles still half full all over the ground. Like there's the lawn is no longer like nice and plush and green like a upscale condominium community would be. It's like dirt patches and mud and stuff all over the place. Look like though when people like drive jeeps and stuff and go like mudding and stuff, like it looks like that has been happening on the grounds. So it's like everything, this empire that was once so beautiful and so heavenly and so luxurious, it now looks like the hood, or like a crazy raving college party happened there the night before. Either way is not good for business. So so all these little small things that come at you, and it's like you live in this nice life or whatever, these little small things come at you and you think it's cute and you let it happen, and over time it cracks down on you, it cracks down on you, it cracks down on you, and before you know it, everything that you've been trying to build up is like crumbs. Then the couple, it gets to the couple, and they go to arguing, bickering back and forth about it. The twin flames, they go to fighting and fussing about it. Now, a little history on the couple. At the time that they were fighting, it came out. No, it's like I see myself as the couple, but then I'm also observing from a third party. After the couple argues and whatever, excuse me, I'm congested, my allergies and stuff acting up. The wife comes in and she's like distraught. She was like, "We're getting a divorce." And in my mind, I was like, "You just had a divorce." So one party in this twin flame connection, before y'all even got together, there was somebody who had just came out of a divorce. If not a legal divorce, it was a big breakup, like a real huge breakup, a big breakdown that was very significant. So that means the connection was very strong. The two people who were in love and they thought they had a mission together and thought they had a life together. And then there was a break apart, there was a divorce. You find this other person, you get into union with them, everything is going good. Y'all building together, doing things together, being successful together. The dark overweighs and outweighs the light, and it gets out of control. Because I'm not one to say that darkness is no better than light, because they both Mercedes. They're both some nice ass luxurious cars. But the black was the one that got out of hand. So the darkness gets out of hand. They both need to be in balance. Darkness got out of hand. You start things that were not right. You can look at it and tell it's not right. But because it had a little fur, because it's tiny, you're like, oh, it's so cute. Things and situations that happened, and something tells you in your spirit this ain't right. This don't feel good. Something about this ain't right. But because you think it's aesthetically cute, it's like you let it get out of hand. You let it pile on top of each other. You keep letting these things happen. And before you know it, you getting chased by these demons that you thought were cute. Before you know it, you overwhelmed by these problems that at first you thought it was just cute. Whether it be the way the person acts towards you, whether it be an image that y'all are putting out, I don't know what it is. But these little details that you've been overlooking, that you can tell something ain't right about it, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you almost want to say, oh, the shit ain't right. You know something is wrong with it, but it's like, oh, you feel sorry for it, or you think it's cute. It becomes a problem. You come out of this first place that you wrecked with the darkness, and you now all of a sudden you're looking at your whole empire and it's trash. You're looking at everything that you've built with this person and it's trash. So that's where we're at right now. Somehow, I guess we got back to the house, because we left the condos or whatever and go back to the couple's house. And these couples are very social. This couple is very social, and they have these friends. And I say that very loosely, these friends who are all up and through the house. When the couple comes home, the friends are already there. So, with this level of prosperity and abundance that these two people have built together, they have allowed all of these moochers into their house that are there when they are not home. in that, think everything is funny and think everything is a joke. They not serious about nothing. They just living good based off the work that these two people, these twin flames, have put in together. Get to the house and somebody says something. They was like, "Come here, come here." And then there's that figure, the one that I saw over my bed before I went to sleep. There's that figure in the dream. And there's this downstairs. It's like a nice finished basement. It could be like a man cave or like a game room or something that this couple had in their house. And there's this figure coming up the stairs. You know how in the scary movies it be coming up the stairs. It was coming up the stairs like that. And these friends, they like, look at that, look at that shit, you know, sound like some hyenas, like just laughing about stuff that's not funny. They think it's all entertaining. Like they not in no type of serious mood. They're not serious about nothing. And I feel like a lot of that is where that darkness gets out of hand. This person that needs to be around the friends and needs to have the friends around that are always playing and drinking and partying, um, that person is going to bring a lot of darkness into the union. That's something that needs to be kind of taken care of before it gets out of hand, before it becomes the reason that the whole empire crashes. So they playing and stuff. It gets to the point where only the couple are alarmed by it. They're the only ones who have discernment and clarity enough spiritually to be concerned by it. So it's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up the stairs, and then it targets one person. And how it targets a person is there's these lightning bolts over this person's head. This is how it looks in my dream. Lightning bolts above this person's head. So it's almost like the person who becomes the person who is more um aware, or the person who is thinking or analyzing the most, or thinking about it the most, that's who the thing attacks. Catch this word now. The person who is thinking about it the most, the person who is most aware, the person who is most either spiritually aware or even just mentally exercised, or mentally busy or mentally active about the connection, that's who the entity attacks. So it could be during this union, one person is like overthinking. One person overthinks, that can lead to breakdown. The other person is like more spiritually aware. They see things that the other person may not see, and they, have thoughts, or they have things that they have to say about it. So the entity attacks that person. But it's going after both of them. Believe me, it was going after both of them. But it's just at whatever moment it was flip flopping. Whoever was thinking about it the hardest, or whoever was more spiritually open to seeing what's going on, that's who that entity was attacking. Because whoever is thinking about it the most and really trying to get down to the bottom of it, or whoever is more spiritually advanced so that they can understand it, they were the bigger threat to this entity. So that's who the entity was coming after at the time in the dream. So it gets the man first. It gets the man. And at first the man is kind of like, men are real quick with impulses, and they move real fast. So the man was trying to distract the entity from his wife, the one that they had just had this argument and said they were getting a divorce, but they're a twin flame union, so the love is still there. He's putting himself out there in front of this entity to distract it from the woman. I just got chills, y'all. He put himself out there as a protector to get its attention off of the woman, because it was coming after the woman because she had all the lightnings over her head, meaning she was thinking about it and more aware of it more, or she was more spiritually able to understand what it was. So it was coming after her. The man put himself in the line of fire. And he's moving. The thing actually starts throwing knives. No, it wasn't. At first, it was swinging a knife. It was like swinging a sword. And being a man, they quick. They can move. They can dodge stuff. So he's moving it real athletic. Like he's moving. He's dodging the sword. Then the thing stands back, and it throws the sword. And the man is turned around. He has his back to the thing, and the sword, it goes through his back, and the front of the sword is sticking out of his mouth. Very graphic, I'm sorry. But it goes, the sword enters through his back. The end of the sword is coming out of his mouth. So it's like an angle to it. The damn friends that think everything is funny, somebody goes and pulls the sword out. And as they're pulling the sword out, it's like the man falls to the ground. So now the entity is like turning, looking at the woman, like, okay, you next. So the woman is just kind of running from it. And there's like, the thing is, there's no noise between the twin flames as they're running. It's just all the friends like, look at this. You just hear noise from the quote unquote friends. And I'm like, that's telling me that they are in alignment. If you find it entertaining, if you find that type of energy entertaining, you are in alignment with it. I mean, you embody that evil energy. You embody that dark energy. You embody that leech trying to suck you dry, trying to kill you energy. You bring death to a situation and not life. Watch your friends. In the twin flame union, watch your friends on your side, on his side. Watch those friends, and y'all gonna have to look out for each other because the friends ain't looking out for either one of y'all. They in it for what they can get. It goes after the woman. The woman has this idea. There was a pool table in the house, and I don't know how true that is, but or if it's something that used to happen back in the day. She cracked the 8 ball, and there's gunpowder inside the pool ball. There's gunpowder inside the 8 ball, and she turns on the oven and throws it in there, and that sets everything on fire. It like causes a big explosion that sets everything on fire, and that's the only way that you were able to kill the entity is death by fire. I interpret that as death by action. It's like somebody has to be big enough to take the action to end all of it. Somebody has to do what needs to be done. I also see that death by fire means taking action as a death of the ego. It's like you have to be willing to 100% put yourself out there and not have any qualms about protecting yourself. You throw something that has gunpowder into an oven in your house, you could die. In this explosion, you could die. But in the dream, neither one of the couples died. At the end of it, it was just those two. I don't know if those friends perished in the fire, but both took action that was free of ego. He stepped in front of something that wasn't even coming after him to protect his feminine. She threw gunpowder into an oven and set the house that they had built together on fire to kill this thing. And at the end, he survived this sword attack. She survived the fire. The sword attack, I feel like it was some type of verbal assault, something that killed his character, something that kind of wounded him as a masculine. There's not really a whole lot that a woman can do in terms of like harming a man physically unless she's like really gonna cut him or shoot him or something or run over him or something like that, some crazy shit. But a woman does not know the power of her words. A lot of times feminine does not understand the power of their words to cut down a man, and he was willing to stand there and take that to protect her. Then you have the woman who is not usually the one who is thought of to be the action taker, the one who is supposed to be doing the pursuing, the one who's supposed to be doing the chasing. It was her action. It was her idea, death by fire. It was her action. Completely losing a sense of ego because women have egos too, very big egos. We want to be protected too. We are afraid to put ourselves and our feelings out on the line and be left there looking stupid, just like men are. It was a complete death of ego. It was a death of self. And she was more concerned with protecting the union or protecting her person or protecting everyone by killing this thing, this entity. And she took that action, that's fire, that's action to kill it. So feminine is I feel like it's gonna have to step out of that place of feeling like you don't have to do nothing to further along this union, feeling like you've already done enough, feeling like you don't really need to make any moves. Because really, just one move by the feminine could really end all of this conflict, could end all of these problems. It really could. And yet the house that they had built up in this empire that they had together, it was a nice house now. It was very nice. It was burnt to the ground, but at the end you still had those two. So they may have messed up their empire, they may have messed up their money, messed up their deal, crashed their luxury cars, lost all of these quote unquote friends, but in the end it was still these two people. And the connection was still there and it was closer than ever because they had been through so much together. And yeah, that's where it ended. I just kind of wrote these notes all around together to make sure I was getting it out together. But yeah, it started with this one person, the feminine, who was dealing with these issues in family. But I feel like it applied to both of them because you both gonna mirror each other. Where you have this person who was kind of seen as like an official member. People all, kind of look up to this person, but this person plays a part in making you feel that you're not enough or making you feel that you're not good enough or you can't do this, you can't do that, keeping you down, telling you things in like a passive aggressive way. They don't flat out say, "Oh, you can't do that. You're not good enough," but they'll say stuff that hints at that. You find yourself looking back on it thinking, "Was this person trying to tell me that I'm not good enough or that I don't deserve it?" They say passive aggressive stuff. They'll never say it straight out to your face. They'll do stuff and they'll say stuff that just make you feel unworthy, that make you feel like they are chipping away at your self-esteem, at your confidence. They put you down in that way, but they'll never own up to saying what they say. They're gonna backpedal every time. I didn't even say it like that. I didn't even mean it like that. You being sensitive. They're gonna flip it back on you. You finally break out of that enough to speak up for yourself and start working your talents. You come into union with this person. When you finally get your confidence up, you finally get your spirits up, you start believing in yourself, you come into union with this person who's also been through something, either you or the other person. Some tragic backstory, divorce, probably both. Some divorce that you came out of before y'all came together. It was a divorce before the union, and then talks of a divorce during the union. And during that time of the divorce that you guys are talking about within the union, that's when all the really climax of the movie happened, or the story. I'm talking about the movie, with this dark entity coming after y'all, you seeing that your friends really are not friends, him stepping in to protect you, you taking the action to protect the whole union, burning everything down, starting from square one with just you and this person. It's like a complete starting over after everything, after everything's been leveled, after everything's been burned. It's just you and this person together. It's a hell of a dream, right? That's a hell of a dream. That's the type of stuff I dream. But like lately, I've been having all of these dreams because that's not the first. I've been meaning to come and do videos about some of the other ones, and I'll probably talk about another one I had about a week ago in a different video. But yeah, it's deep. It's deep. When I have these dreams, it's like I realize it's not just for me because I've always kept dream journals, and stuff would happen, and then I'll see it, and I was like, oh man, I dreamed about that. Sometimes it's more figurative. Sometimes it's more symbolic than it is, literal. But sometimes I have dreams and then that exact same thing will happen in real life. But yeah, that's quite a storyline for the twin flame union. So I'm hoping that y'all took something from it, both for yourself and for your interactions with your divine counterpart. So that is a divine channel that I had. I thank y'all for listening in with me. And for those of you who interacted, oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see what this person's name is. Greg. Oh, wow. Thank you, Greg. Okay. Okay, so officially shooketh. I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. This is your Empress Divine, Miss Tasha Turner herself. Have a good night.